concerns over the impact of unregulated land acquisition in Delta State. Stakeholders from across various sectors gathered in Asaba to chart a new course for sustainable land governance. The occasion was the 12th anniversary celebration of Ndokwa Reporters, where the inaugural edition of the Bell Dialogue, a policy and development-driven forum, was launched. The event served as a platform for thought leaders, traditional authorities, legal experts, and civil society advocates to highlight the urgent need for land reform, community protection, and transparent government intervention. Our correspondents have more.
Address. The President and CEO of Bell Media Consult, Emmanuel O. Enebeli, reaffirmed Ndokwa Reporters' commitment to grassroots journalism as a tool for community development. He emphasized the media's pivotal role in bridging the gap between the government and the governed over the past 12 years. At the end of the event, the President of Bell Media, Emmanuel Enebeli, highlighted what informed the idea behind the topic.
This celebration we did today, the 12th, was supposed to be done 2 years ago, but the spirit was not there until the spirit of for me to now create another platform which will follow it. I came and I said, okay, let me now do a celebration. It has been a tiresome one, and but also interesting. Like when I was giving my vote of thanks, the topic seems initially I selected 4 topics or 5 topics. So I gave it to some of my friends who helped me to, including my chairman of NIPRO. Please help me to remove the one that is not really necessary to this era. When you look at our environment generally, something is wrong, which we are failing to address. And we think that there's a way we can lend our voice through this dialogue to now bring it to the public. Like as we have witnessed today, that actually there's need for us to see how the government and traditional institutions can come together and see how, because there are a lot of issues, legal issues in court. We know very well also that there are issues of killings, intimidation because of land. There are issues of land being sold and resold again, as most of the discussants have said. So I felt that we need to talk about this thing, and let's see how we can take the message to the public.
Chairman of the event, Honorable Osai, Nicholas Osai, in his opening remarks underscored the critical importance of land ownership, reminding attendees of the state's ultimate authority over land structured under statutory and customary rights of occupancy. He called on the government, traditional institutions, and civil society to collaborate in developing sustainable land governance frameworks that balance development needs with community rights.
Land ownership in Nigeria and invest all land within a state territory under the control of the state government, who holds such lands in trust for the people. Accordingly, individuals do not have absolute ownership of land, as the state retains the ultimate control, which is structured into statutory right of occupancy and customary right of occupancy. With statutory ownership, the state holds ultimate power over land transactions, and individuals can acquire land in urban area through lease or grant covered by a statutory right of occupancy issued by the state government on behalf of the government. In customary ownership, which relates to lands in rural or indigenous communities, where land is typically owned by community or families, state control is exercised through a customary right of occupancy issued by the local government area council on behalf of the government. It is important to emphasize that except for landed property with former title deeds that predate 1978, all transactions in land that cover title must receive the approval of the state government through what is called governor consent. With the Land Use Act in view, we can work together to find a sustainable solutions that balance acquisitions for development needs with the rights and interests of our local communities. It is also important to urge the discussant to decisive and convincing in advancing solutions that could address the disturbing problem of reckless acquisitions and grabbing of community lands and the attendant displacement of local population from their ancestral heritage. I am therefore elated, inviting us to this timely dialogue. Thank you.
In their separate explanations, stakeholders observed that unregulated land acquisition in Nigeria has led to widespread economic and physical displacements, loss of livelihoods, erosion of cultural identity, and rising social instability, all often occurring under the pretense of development. The consequences, they say, not only burden affected communities, but also pose broader risk to socio-economic stability and regional peace.
Land is a very important factor in the life of mankind because it provides where you build your shelter, it provides your means of livelihood. So every man should be concerned with the control of land. Now, when you talk about control of land, your mind will go to acquisition of land. There's what we call customary acquisition. There's also what we call English acquisition of land. Now, settlement goes a long way to determine the acquisition of land. That's to say, the first settler in a particular place owns that land. Now, apart from settlement or settlers, there are other means to acquire land. The first settlers can donate such land to other people. They can also outrightly sell the land to other people. They can also grant the land to other persons. Now, in accordance with the law that we practice in Nigeria, once a land has been granted to a person and the grantee, the man who granted the land is the grantor. The man who received the land, whose land has been given, is the grantee. Once he accepts the land and he did not run foul of any law, he becomes the original owner of that land. And if you go to court to challenge it, it will be null and void.
Okay, it has become a nightmare in my community upon them, and it has caused a lot of problems, whereby you hardly see our youth go to school. They don't go to school. They based all their minds in land selling, grabbing land. You see a child of 15 years going to take the vet. A man of 40, 35 selling like one land to like 10 people, which at the end causes issue. It is very to regulate land in a community to stop this issue of land grabbing.
Traditional rulers and all whatnot.
We have to engage government. And we have to engage our traditional institutions. These are the people who would regulate the land that we have. And let us engage truthfully, and let them also be honest and be truthful to us. Because talking about regulating land that we have around here, we discovered that sometimes even government is corporate in the position that happens haphazardly around our communities. You just come around from nowhere, you say you are from China, you want to do some development in your community, and government will just willingly give up land in communities that I belong, that you belong, all of us belong to those communities. And people will come, take over the land without even, the due processes of paying compensation. And what do our chiefs, what do our Ndokwas do? They also connive in some instances. So if these institutions are strengthened, government is alive to its responsibilities, our traditional institutions are alive to their responsibilities, I'm sure these people will be able to see us as who we are, as co-owners of this estate called land. It is not their private estate, it is for all of us. And for government, like the Land Use Act has rightly enumerated, they are to hold it in trust for us. Can we trust that government is holding this land in trust for us?
As the conversation around land rights and development deepens. The Bell Dialogue sets a timely precedent for inclusive policy making and responsible governance in Delta State and beyond. In Asaba, Maria Goretti Ulube, reporting for Quest News.